Hello, everyone. It's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor, and I'm here with two very special members of our Painters Clubhouse today. We've got Miss Vashti Miller and Linda Scarborough. Y'all say hi, ladies.
Hi.
So Vashti, I will start with you. Why don't you tell us like where you're from and how long you've been a member of the clubhouse?
I am from Fresno, California, and I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary on the 25th.
Yeah, you are. This is your like clubhouse birthday, if you will.
It is, yes.
I hear a little bit of an echo back.
That's not me.
Do you hear it on your end, Linda?
I don't.
I can hear it on my end.
I wonder if let me try like muting one of our mics and see if it still does it. Okay. Did it stop?
Yep.
Okay. So I think it's just coming through on Linda's, but I'm not sure why it's doing it. Do you happen to have two devices open, Linda? Like,
I do not. My phone is here, but it's turned off and down.
okay. Well, I will see if I can just like mute yours while I'm talking to Vashti and then unmute it and then maybe I don't know. You say something.
Can you hear me?
Okay, if I mute myself, the echo goes on. I don't know that that'll work for an interview, but okay. Anyways, all right. So first question, or actually, I can't even get to the first question yet. I'm a terrible interviewer. Linda, if you will tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how long you've been in the clubhouse.
I've been in the clubhouse since around November of 2019, and I am from Hamilton, Georgia, which is a small little town about less than 100 miles south of Atlanta, Georgia. We have two red lights, one we don't even need. And I don't know why I thought it was okay to retire here because there is no food delivery and there is no grocery store. So you have to drive 30 minutes to get anything.
That is so funny. Well, do people in that area still like decorate their door with door hangers and stuff like that regardless? I mean, like, do you do paint parties or what do you sell or do you just do this for yourself?
Well, I do it mostly for me, but whenever I post it, it sells. So I sell them, but I don't have a business and I don't think there's enough people here to do a paint party. But I would love to be able to do that. I would just have to go to my hometown, which is 30 minutes south of here.
Well, I live out in the country too, and I mean, we're too far for DoorDash to even come out here, but when you run a business online, sometimes you can still sell to people even though they don't live right here next to you. So, the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is if you could tell me a little bit of your like why. So, Vashti, if you will tell me first of all, like why did you end up joining Clubhouse in the beginning?
Really, I just took the 3-letter class and had a really good time with it. And then someone saw the one that we did, kind of like your background of your yeah, not the B, but
That one.
the whole letters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the whole background. And she loved it. And then she was like, "Hey, will you make an L for me?" And then I was like, "Wow, okay. Well, someone liked my work and I did good." And, she wanted to buy it. And so that kind of gave me the courage and the confidence that I could do it. And so that's why I started doing it. And it was just something fun to do. And then honestly, I always tell people I love to just sit there and put it down and then throw on my Hallmark. And so I just kind of like zone out and just get my creative energy out and get my Hallmark in too.
Yeah, it's like double self-care. You get to
It
you
is.
get to binge watch your favorite shows and you get to like relax and paint at the same time.
Exactly.
So have you started a business with this, Vashti?
Yeah, I already had a business, but I'm kind of one that my business ebb and flows with whatever I've decided to do creatively right now. But since for the last year I've been doing the door hangers and it has boomed. I do 2 monthly paint parties, which the one brings in about 17 people each month, which is fantastic. And then the other one brings in about 5 or 6. And so it's just fantastic. And then I do a few of the vendor fairs here in town. And then sometimes they're hit or miss if they're going to do well or not.
Yeah. Well, those paint parties I feel like are the big money maker more so than doing craft fairs or selling
Yes.
individual door hangers because If you can get them, especially if you can get them to pay ahead of time before they come to the party, that's guaranteed money before you show up. And with a craft fair, we all know there's never guaranteed money. You don't know for sure whether or not people are going to show up and whether or not they're going to buy. So
Yeah, that's what my problem is. There's one fair that I do where I know it's probably going to do well. But then the others, it's kind of a hit or miss. And so, like my husband said, just focus on the paint parties.
yeah. Linda, what has been your experience with selling or do anything like that? Have you started a business with this?
I haven't started an actual business, but I have a lot of friends and they see it. And then I've sold to them and I've sold to their friends. And then whenever I've painted a few, I post them on Facebook, and then people start messaging me and they want me to make things for them. And it's not always just the templates. It's, can you make me right now? I've got somebody wanting a sheriff's badge, because we live in a small community where we have a sheriff's department. And so I've created one. I mean, and it's, it's not that hard to do. And so I'm working on that for her, and people they message me all the time and say, can you do? And I'm like, of course I can do. And I've watched you for 2 years, and it is the cheapest form of therapy there is. And like Vashti, my husband put me a TV in my craft room, so I get to watch my shows and paint, and I kind of get into my own space and be able to relax and just kind of process whatever's going on. I started this when my mother passed away, and I was so sad. And she had been a painter. She loved crafting, and my dad had given me all of her stuff, and you just popped on my Facebook one night, and I was like, wow, I have all that paint. You painted a boot. It was a cowboy boot. And I ordered that from you, and I painted it, and it was beautiful. And I sold it. I wasn't even trying to sell it. It was just something I did for me. So I don't have a business, but I sell them. And when they start selling around the holidays and stuff, I can't paint them fast enough. And I'm not Tamara Bennett. I paint slow.
And that's okay.
I'm a slow painter. And I had never used power tools either, but I learned to do that too.
Yeah. I want to say hello real quick to all of our ladies over here in the comments saying hi. Hello, Tammy and Jody and Marla, Brenda and Marina and Janet. I see everybody popping on. We're not ignoring you guys. If y'all have a question for Vashti or Linda or about the Painters Clubhouse, maybe there's a specific question you have about what their experience has been in the clubhouse, because y'all know I adore the Painters Clubhouse and I will talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but I am the owner of the clubhouse. I'm not technically a member. And so sometimes the best way to hear it is from somebody who's actually a member and has been a member for a while. And Vashti was saying she's been in for a year. Linda, how long have you been in?
It's a little over 2 years.
And could you tell us, like, what was your reason for joining? What is your why? I know you said your mother had passed away and stuff like that. And I just think it's probably God's providence that I ended up in your Facebook feed that day.
That's what happened, is you popped up on my Facebook one night, and I had been feeling so blue, and my mother's picture's right here. She watches me every time I paint. And that was something she loved to do. And I learned to use a jigsaw on her jigsaw with her jigsaw, and I learned to use a scroll saw with her scroll saw. And I started out with just her. Actually, it was the Deco Art paints is what she had. And so I started out with all of her stuff, her brushes, everything. And so it brought me a lot of comfort to be able to sit and do it. It made me feel closer to her. And then now it's just fun. I look forward to it.
What would you say to somebody who's maybe a little bit afraid to pick up a jigsaw and to try power tools? Because I know that's something that's very intimidating to a lot of women. So, and you say you use them, your mother even used them. You're using her jigsaw, for goodness sake. So what would you say to somebody who's maybe afraid to use power tools?
What you're going to do is make a wrong cut. You can sand that off. I mean, worst thing you're going to do is mess up a piece of wood. And you can always, if it's too bad, you can start over. So do like like Tamara, that was the thing when I first started. I didn't know where to buy anything, and I was afraid to ask you because I didn't realize how giving you were and how willing to help us you were. And if it hadn't been for that, even I don't know that I would have done it. But she go buy some revolutionary plywood at Lowe's. It's like I think right now it's $22. It's gone up, but you can get at least 8, if not 10 to 12, you know, door hangers out of it. So the worst thing you're going to do is, spend a little money waste a piece of wood. But it's not hard, and the more you do it, the better you get.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely. I had never cut out a door hanger before until I got my dad to show me how to do it, and I didn't realize, I guess, how there's just a little bit of a finesse to it, and once you kind of get the hang of that, you just get better and you get faster. And the first set of door hangers I cut out all by myself. I think there was only like 12 of them, and it took me about 2 hours to cut all 12. But by the time I had been doing it for 2 to 3 years, I could cut out like 60 door hangers in that same 2 hours. And so it's amazing how much faster you can get after you've been doing it for a little while.
And my husband, once he started seeing them sell, and he knew I wasn't crazy about, I don't like to get dirty. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a girly girl. I don't like to get dirty. And he's willing to cut them for me so I can just keep painting, because it's just bringing in money. The more I paint, the more I can sell. And I'm not even trying to sell them. So I'm like, I've sold these, but I sure am not in the mood to cut today. So I got that. I got you.
The painting part's more fun anyway.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Okay. I'm going to mute yours because I keep getting like a feedback or an echo back. But I did see a question from Kathy Condon. She said, when does the Clubhouse meet? So to answer that question, we have a calendar that we put out on the first Monday of every month with what's coming up that month. And so it will give you dates and times for the upcoming tutorials that we're going to be doing. And almost all of them are taught live inside the Painters Clubhouse Facebook group. Now, most of the ones that I teach these days are during the day, like on like a Monday or a Thursday at 2 p.m. or something like that, because I'm a mother of 3. And so I try to reserve my evenings for my kids and my family. They're real good, especially that middle child. He's real good at putting a guilt trip on me if I spend too much time in my craft room. He's like, Mom, you're always in there. And so we've had to have a talk or two about how this pays the bills, son, and this is paying for that summer camp you want to go to. So I hope y'all will forgive me, but most of my tutorials and things are during the day. But when I do these workshops and things like we just did this past week, those are in the evening, just because I know most people can participate in the evening. But even if you can't watch them live during the day, you can always watch them on the replay at any time later. Let's see. Donna says she just signed up. She said, PC, here I come. Yay, Donna, welcome. And I saw several other ladies commenting before just a few minutes ago. I want to say welcome to all of you as well. I think so far we have welcomed 140 new members. So I'm thrilled about that. I'm so excited for these ladies and where painting is going to take them. So I want to ask you next, Vashi, what is your biggest area that you feel like you have grown in? Like, personally or creatively, like what is your biggest area for growth since you've joined the Clubhouse?
I really think my confidence has grown because you make things and you just think, oh, it's kind of puny, or I don't know the right words I'm looking to say, but just it's not very good. But then you have people that come up and they're like Linda was saying, they want to buy your stuff, or then they're like, please teach me, you're the go-to, or they love what you're making and they want to have a piece of that. And then to take a piece of what I've made and to put it on their door in their house, it makes me feel so good inside that a part of me is now in a part of their home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just built my confidence, and we all need that.
Yeah. And if you weren't sharing your photos and stuff with the Painters Clubhouse, like I know personally, if I wasn't able to share something I've made with everybody else, the only compliments I would be getting it were ones I'm telling myself. And a lot of times we are our own worst critic. And so we aren't going to be hearing very many compliments if it's just us telling ourselves we did a good job. So sometimes we need to hear it from an outside source. people on the internet, like in Painters Clubhouse, or even just a neighbor walking up and saying, "What a beautiful piece you have on your door. Could I buy one?" Or "Where can I
Right.
get one?"
And I will tell you that the gals in Painters Clubhouse have been fantastic. I mean, we throw something up there, a picture, and they're quick to tell you how good it is, or if we need, and they're honest. They will tell you if it needs a little tweaking, or it's very. I've never seen anything negative. I've always seen very constructive criticism, and even then, it's not even criticism, but it's just ways to help us better
Mhm.
it. And the girls have just been phenomenal, and uh, what do you call them? Our sister, our soul sister from here is here in Fresno, and she's just up the street, and we really help or she really helps me out a lot. Kelly, hi Kelly.
That's awesome. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Linda?
Um, just the community, the Painters Clubhouse, the community is incredible. The not it's your team is amazing. You
Mhm.
email them, you get a response. Is they not at night or on the weekends, but as soon as they're in the office, they're trying to help you. You've been amazing. You've been so open and helpful, and you're always so encouraging, and just being able to watch other people put their work up, and you can see what they're doing and encourage one another. And I'm lucky that my husband always tells me how pretty they look, or how good, or you're getting better, or he's very encouraging. But a lot of people aren't that fortunate, and I just think that this group of ladies, or I think there's some few men in here, but this group of people is just a fantastic community. And Tamara, I thank you for that.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
because of you we are able to do this and enjoy it.
Agree.
Well, I do this because I needed it for myself. In the beginning, that's kind of why I did it. I needed to gather people who were like me with me, because like you said before, Linda, when I first started doing this way back in 2000, the very first door hanger I ever painted, I think was in 2013 or 14. And way back then, and I'm almost getting emotional just thinking about it because it's so frustrating. Back then, I needed help. I needed somebody who could just tell me what kind of wood to buy. Like you said, like, what kind of wood do you use? And I remember private messaging a couple of other door hanger makers that I really respected their work. And I just wanted to know, like, can you tell me what kind of wood to go buy? I wasn't looking to like compete with her or to steal her customers or anything like that. I just wanted to make something for myself. And she said, "I'm sorry, that's not information that I share with people." And immediately it's like a wall goes up. I feel like I've been put on the outside and I'm not welcome here, and I hated that feeling. And so I thought right then and there, like, if I ever figure all this out, I'm not going to hide it from people. I'm going to share it with anybody and everybody who will ask, because this is like an awesome thing that, anybody should be able to do. And so I have always tried my best to be an open book and to share any and everything I know about this craft with you guys. And so I appreciate so much you saying that, Linda, that, that was something that was, a positive thing when you found me, that you realized, hey, Tamara's going to answer any question I ask. So it was like, no question is a bad question. You didn't feel like you were going to be shut out and put behind a wall and not answered.
And you know what, Tamara, you're really good about the way you help us, um, and the other ladies too. Like you said, we don't feel like we're being put away, and you'll allow us even to come in if we've gotten a template from someone else, and we make something. You're quick to even encourage that other maker, and it's neat to see like you and Heidi and the other crafters getting together, and it's neat to see how you all build one another up, and that's really neat to see, all of this sisterhood, and we need that.
I've been doing this, well, for probably 6 years now, and I developed or adopted, if you will, that community over competition mindset back in, I think it was 2017. And I remember the day I made the decision to actively stop getting upset with anybody who would ever copy anything that I had made or that I was teaching, and to just kind of switch it and embrace it instead and say, yes, copy me if you need to learn how to do this, or, like, my designs are your designs. And you know what I mean? Like, I remember the day that I made the decision. And ever since that day, my business has started growing and growing and growing and growing, because I feel like when we bless others, it comes back on us tenfold. And
And you
so
blessed all of us.
thank you. So that's one big thing that I feel like is very special about the Painters Clubhouse, is that I feel like I have done a good job of gathering people who also share that same mindset. And because of that, when we share something in the clubhouse that has been like a brilliant idea of our own or something, everybody else is welcome to partake in that and to use that idea.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to say, Linda?
I was just going to tell you, I've got a couple of friends that are realtors, and they will buy, a realtor buys a gift for the person that has bought a house. And so I have a couple of realtors that buy signs, door hangers from me. And it's really cool to ride around town, and not my little town, but the town I grew up in, because I still go and care for my dad. But to ride around in town and ride past somebody's house and my signs hanging on their door. And I'm like, oh my God. So, but they don't know who I am. I sign them. I do sign the back and put a date on them, but they don't, I just think it's cool when you ride by and you see something you created and it's hanging on somebody else's door. And so it's a good feeling. But this whole group it creates a lot of warm fuzzy.
It does.
So
Warm fuzzies.
yeah. So
I did see a question over in the comments a moment ago. Let me find it again. Marla Crutchfield said, do you get a discount for being in Painters Clubhouse and Template Club? So Painters Clubhouse and Template Club, just for those of you who have no idea what they are two separate things. The Painters Clubhouse is the membership that these ladies are a part of and that we're talking about today, where we teach you how to paint door hangers. And you do get 2 new templates every month as a part of that. Plus you get access to over 100 templates that we have saved up in our library over the last 4 years. And in the Painters Clubhouse, you get certain discount codes. So if you want to also join Template Club, now Template Club is only a bundle of the new templates we release every month for one low cost. And so that's an awesome thing. If you need more templates every month, I advise you to go join Template Club. But if you're brand new to painting, brand new to all of this, don't feel like you have to do everything. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Start with the Painters Clubhouse, get your footing, figure out how much you're going to be painting. And once you're like so obsessed with this that you're painting like every single day, every single week, then join Template Club, and you will get 20% off of Template Club because you're a Painters Clubhouse member. Are either of you ladies a Template Club member?
I am. Both of us.
Would you say that that's probably good advice to join the Painters Clubhouse first and then figure out where you need to be after that?
I would say yes, but I jumped in with both feet because I wanted it.
Well, and I did too. I once you opened the Template Club, I was immediately doing that and was just about to join the Paint to Profit when you had to shut all that down, because I do want to start a business, but I'll figure it out. And I know if I have any questions, I know who to ask.
Yep. And you know that I've got lots of friends who teach that sort of stuff too. So I can always point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Kathy says, I've been a member since the fall, and I've only had a positive experience. The environment is such a blessing. I feel like we will protect it no matter what. I learn so much each time I see someone else's work. It just grows me in some way. Oh, and that reminds me, Kathy, I forgot to ask Linda, what was your biggest area for growth? Do you mind sharing that with us? Vashi said it was her confidence. So what area would you say has been your biggest growth since you joined Painters Clubhouse?
Well, I would kind of say the same thing, because like you said, we are our own worst critic. So when I look at it, I see all of the mistakes and then but then somebody else comes along and says how beautiful it is, and being able to get out there and use a jigsaw and a sander and a scroll saw, and I have bought a laser cutter now. I'm the proud owner of a Thunder Laser 35, and that makes life so much easier, y'all. And I mean, you just stick your wood in there and go. But just seeing myself get better and better at those things. And I mean, I had a full career and I was good at what I did, and I loved what I did. And I actually had 2 careers. And so I never felt like I wasn't good, but I wasn't good at this when I started in watching myself get better and better and better, and just the love of it. You just, it's, I look forward to getting up every morning when I have a day at home, and this is where I stay in my craft room. My husband built me a table. We turned the biggest guest room we had into my room because I don't want anybody to come and stay the night or stay a long time. And the biggest extra space was going to be mine. And we turned our biggest guest room into my room. And y'all, it's full. I've got so much stuff, but it's just the growth and the confidence that it enables you to build in yourself. And then just the relation, being able to create some new relationships. I'm retired, so I don't go to work every day anymore, and I have my friends, but I have more friends now because of this group.
Did what you said you worked 2 jobs before this? What did you do?
Well, for a lot of years when I was younger, I was a hairstylist, and you can't tell that by looking at it now. But and then I decided that I wanted to be able to retire one day, and so at 34, I had been through a divorce, and I decided I would go to college and learn to do something different. And so I ended up with a bachelor's and a master's degree, and I went to work in higher education, and I had a program where I helped older people get back into school like I had done and be able to achieve their dream of of a college degree. And I did that for 20 years. And then I retired at 60. I was blessed that I had enough years of service and the age that I could retire. And my mom, like I said, my mom had passed away, and my dad really, needed some help. And so um, that's what I did. So I was a hairstylist for 16 years, and then I worked in higher ed for 20. And then last year, my husband had to have emergency open heart surgery in Tamara. When he was in the hospital, I couldn't go see him. I could FaceTime. So painting is what I would do at night when I couldn't sleep. This gave me so much comfort to be able to sit in here and it occupy my brain and not worry about what's going on with him because I couldn't be with him. COVID wouldn't let me in the hospital. And that was horrible, to know that he's, in a life-threatening position, and it was an emergency thing. We had no idea he was sick. And so this brought me a lot of comfort then too. He's all well, y'all. It's been a year.
Good.
He's good. He's good. I thought I might kill him before he got well, but he's all good. I'm not a nurse.
Some men are the worst too when they're sick. They get that man cold or something, and they're just like they drag it out and they milk it for all it's worth.
Oh yeah.
So Vashi, do you have a laser cutting machine? I know Linda said she have one.
I do not. It's kind of funny. Whenever I go to a show, if someone pays me with $100 bill, I slide that aside no matter what, and that goes towards my laser machine. So whether or not I make $100 on the thing, that $100 bill goes to my laser machine. So I've got 1,000 so far.
Well, you'll be there before you know it, I bet. So speaking of that, what are your goals for the next year? For the end of the year, do you have any sort of like goals that you're trying to accomplish in your business or in your painting skills or anything like that?
Hand lettering for sure. I totally need to get that down. You guys have been helping with that for sure. I think I'd like to get more paint parties would be great just because like we had talked about, they're kind of the meat and potatoes right now for me. And I would like to get the laser cutter, but honestly, I have nowhere to really put it right now. So just kind of saving for it is the best. But really the hand lettering is really what I need to get. I really want to work on this next year.
What about you, Linda?
I would like to actually have a business, have something I can call my own. That I'm with Vashi on the hand lettering. But the cool thing about the laser is the software that comes with it puts that lettering on that piece of wood for you. You just pick which font you like. You don't have to do it. But I would like to see about paint parties. I've been thinking about that, in my hometown, it's just 30 minutes up the road, and I'm sure I could do that. But I'm preparing for my first craft show too. And my dad and my husband are wood turners. So my dad and my husband are going to be participating in it, and I'm going to be there and just put some of my stuff out and see what happens with it. Not really sure what to take. My dad says I need to take about 100 of them. I can't imagine having 100 at one time ready to go. But I'm gonna do a craft show, and I'm gonna see about doing some paint parties.
Well, while craft shows are a great way to sell your painted projects, if you're wanting to get into the paint parties, I will give you one piece of advice. Have something up there in your booth that's visual, that tells people that it's something you are doing, so that if somebody sees it, they can ask you questions like, wait, tell me more about paint parties, or wear a t-shirt that says, ask me about booking a paint party, or something like that. Because as COVID is now kind of gotten to where it's settling down, people are wanting to get out more. And I think that especially this fall, I think is going to be the paint party boom time. So you want to go ahead and start as soon as possible, getting a couple of people here and there to book a party, so you can kind of get the flow of things, figure out what you need at your parties. And maybe by the fall, when everybody is, because fall has always been a good time for parties, by then you will have already kind of built up your name a little bit. Everybody, your booking calendar will be full by fall if you want to stay as busy as you want to be.
Oh, okay.
Cameron, can
That's
I?
great of you.
So I was say, can I add for sure? I did that at my booths, and I actually took one of my best friends said for her birthday party, what she wanted was to have a paint party to get me into it. And so that was the very first thing I did. And I took a picture of everybody. And then on my I have a table, and it says, ask me about paint parties. And I put a picture of everybody holding up their door hangers. And you'd be surprised. I've had at least 2 or 3 paint parties come out of that sign.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I also think if you could have some kind of even if it's just a piece of paper, like a notebook paper, anybody who's interested, because they're probably going to be busy at the craft fair, they can't pick a date right then, take down their phone number or something and get their permission to call them back in a week or in a month. That way, when they get home and they forget about it, you can be like, hey, it's Linda. We met at my craft fair last week. Got my calendar in front of me. Are you still interested in booking a paint party? Follow up with them with a phone call.
I like that. Take a note.
I'll do that.
And I see a question over in the comments from Karen Franks about the laser machines. So let me just, before I start telling you about the laser machines, because we could talk all day about lasers, you can get started with this craft without a laser. Just like Linda said, she's been doing this for 2 years and she just finally bought a laser. I did this for about 4 years before I finally bought a laser. So you do not have to have a laser machine to get started. You can get started just by getting a simple $40 jigsaw at Lowe's and a little mouse sander or something to get started with. But if we're talking about laser machines, I own both a Glowforge Pro and a Thunder Laser Nova 24. Linda said she owns the Nova 35. And so the Glowforge is small enough to fit inside your craft room, but the price on those has gone up enough that it's almost the same price to turn around and get yourself a Thunder Laser. The price just went up 2-3 days ago. They increased them, I think, to $69.95 or something. They went up quite a lot. And so I'm going to say now that the Thunder Laser is your best bang for your buck. It's faster. It's more powerful. It can cut larger pieces. Now, I have the Nova 24, but I wish I had gotten the 35 like Linda has, because then I could cut a 20-inch piece, whether it's 20 inches both directions, without having to do it in 2 steps. I could just hit the button once. It would do the whole thing. And so if you're going to spend the money, I would say get the Nova 35. That way you can, you won't have to wait and up and grow into it. You know what I mean? You won't outgrow it quickly is what I'm trying to say, but I wasn't saying it very well.
Yeah. And I actually last September bought a Nova 24, and when it got here in December, and that's another thing, is it shipping on them is a while, so you want to make sure you get what you want. But when it got here in December, I could not do the pass through. I'm sorry, I couldn't figure that out. That was just more than I could handle. And I got in touch with Thunder and asked them if they would take it back and let me have another, let me buy a bigger one. Well, they don't do that. but they told me what to do to sell it. And I put it on their Facebook page, and in 2 hours, I sold it for what I paid for it. And the man drove from South Carolina to Columbus, Georgia, Hamilton, Georgia, to pick it up. It's not light either, y'all. And then I immediately turned around and ordered the 35 on December 30th, and I got it the 1st of March. So I've had it a few weeks. And the 35 was just, it costs a little more, but it's easier for me because I can just stick my wood in there and go. You know, I don't have to figure out that pass through. I have zero patience. Patience is a virtue. I guess I'm not virtuous because I don't have any. I don't have any patience.
You're probably virtuous in other ways.
Right. And I still use my jigsaw and my sander. I still do that. And I think I just always will. The laser is easier, but sometimes you just want to get out there and do that.
Yeah.
And I don't like to get dirty. So
I saw a couple of questions over here. I see Jeannie is saying, she said, Tamara, when did you start out? Did you start out full-time in this or whenever you could part-time? So I kind of like, I don't do anything halfway. I hit the ground running when I started this business. I didn't wait. I was 8 months pregnant and I was like, we're doing this like now. And so I started booking paint parties with anybody and everybody who would let me into their home, which answers Stacy's question about, do you do this in people's houses? Yes, I would go and cut out the pieces with my jigsaw. I'd bring the wood cutouts, the paint, the brushes. The only thing I did not take to my parties was the disposable tablecloths, the cups that we would put the water in to rinse the brushes out, the paper plates, and the napkins, or like the paper towels. So like the disposable stuff, right? So I had a system where if Vashi was booking a paint party with me, I would say, hey, Vashi, you need at least 10 people. Like, you can decide what your number is. In the beginning, mine was only like 5 people, but toward the end, it was more like 10 people. I would say if you have at least 10 people who sign up and are willing to pay $35 to paint, then Vashi gets to paint for free and she doesn't have to pay the $35. And in exchange, I would say, and if you don't mind, please pick up the paper towels, the cups, the plates, and the paper towels, or I think I've said paper towels already, the tablecloths, whatever, all the disposable stuff for the party. I said, because, it's easier because if Vashi is setting up the party at her house, she knows whether we're doing it in the living room or in the garage. She knows how many tables she's got set up. And so it's just easier for her logistically to kind of take care of that. And really, she could probably do all that for less than $10. And so it was just easier for me to have my hostess take care of those things. And I brought all the stuff that was not disposable that we were going to use at the party. And then that brings me to another question. Cheryl says, what's the average price you would charge for a paint party? I have a storefront business and I do DIY workshops and would like to add this to our calendar. So Cheryl, since you are providing the location and the place, I really think you could charge more than somebody who is like just going to people's homes, because you have to cover your overhead. You have utilities and things to pay for. And so I started out in the very beginning only charging like $25 a person. And that was with me hand cutting the pieces. And I was buying ribbon at half price any chance I could at the Hobby Lobby or wherever. But after I'd been doing it a little while, when I started laser cutting my pieces, my costs went up because I was having to buy the laser cut pieces from somebody locally. Matter of fact, he's texting me now saying, can I bring your order to you? Yes, you can. And so I increased my price to $35 a person. But if I had had a workshop, a place where they come to me, everything is set up and ready to go, all they have to do is bring the people, then I might have charged as much as $45 a person. Now, my friend, Sarah Williams, a lot of you guys know her from Framed, years ago, she used to have a sign painting workshop 2 or 3 nights a week inside of her store. And she was charging $45 a person for most of the workshops and selling out. She would have 50 people at every party. And that's a lot of money. When you do 50 people times $45, that's a really good night. And so I think you could probably charge as much as at least $45, depending on the project. Now, if it's something that has multiple pieces, maybe 3D pieces, you might could even charge more. So it just really just depends on the project and all the logistics involved, but definitely make sure that it's worth your time and worth all the supplies you're having to pay for.
Tamara, something that I've noticed is that here in Fresno, I can't get people to spend the same kind of money like you can where you are. So I have to go cheaper for my stuff to
Mhm.
make the sales. So I think that's one thing I would suggest to people to kind of fill out where you're living. Um, because of course I would love to charge $50 for a door hanger, but I can't get people to buy them here for
Yeah.
that. So I kind of just did what you said when I first started was what would you be happy with? And at first
Mhm.
I started at $20 and then I jumped up to 25. And if they have extra to it, then I'll do 30. And the same for my paint parties. They're right now at 25. But then once I get a laser cutter and they look a little bit nicer and I can
Mhm.
do the 3D, then I'm going to up the price too.
And you could definitely have stuff that you upsell them to. If they want to buy a fancy bow, you could charge $5 or $10 for that big fancy bow if they want to add that on. Or once you get your laser cutter, if you want to have like a 3D word that's cut out, they could pay extra for that. And so you could figure out ways to upsell them. But Vashi, I think that like in the beginning, when I was charging less, I had less customers, I had less reputation, and so it took a little while for me to build up to where I was busy and staying booked up. And I think really once I started getting to the point where I was booked up all the time, I could have started increasing it even just by $5 a head a little bit, because it's like then you're more in demand, right? And people
Right.
are willing to pay more for something that's in demand.
Yeah. Can I add too, people don't forget that you can call like your local places. I go to one of my places that we meet each month is at Denny's. They have an open spot in the back, and then another spot is like a pizza parlor. And I just call a
Mhm.
local place and say, "Hey, can I come do a paint party?" And they're pretty cool about it and let us go for free.
Yeah, our local pizza parlor is where I would do a lot of my parties, and if I had somebody call and say they wanted to have one, but they didn't have a place that they could have it, I'd say, "Well, why don't you call up?" I would make them, the hostess, be the one in charge of calling the pizza place and booking the room and taking care of the arrangements, and so they would call and they'd say, "We're wanting to do a paint party. Can we have the back room?" And she would say, "Yes." She'd put it in her name, and I would just show up with my supplies, so that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to share, Linda?
No, I'm sitting here just taking it all in. I've actually got a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm taking notes. So
You didn't know we were bringing you to class today, did you?
I love it. Y'all just keep going. I'm just amazed and taking it all in. And I get $30 for my door hangers, and I charge them $5 if I put a bow on it because I don't like to make bows.
And Jody is asking, is it okay to do 2-day parties? Um, so I wouldn't call that a 2-day party so much as I would call that like a craft workshop, like weekend or something, because if you tell people that they're coming to a paint party and they have to show up on 2 separate days, that's a lot more of a calendar commitment for people who have a hard time fitting stuff in their schedule anyway. If you were going to do something like that, Jody, are you afraid you can't get it done all in one day? Is that the problem? Because if that's the situation, you might could start it on like a Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m., and then you've got 4 to 6 hours or however long. But I've never had a party go more than 6 hours. Now, we did have one party one time that was a fundraiser, and we were expecting about 100 people off and on throughout a 6 hour period. And so we started at like noon, and it was a come and go sort of thing. We said you can arrive anytime between noon and 4 p.m. to get started. And so that kind of kept it from being super overwhelming on us to have all the people arrive at one time. But if you've got plenty of help, I mean, you could get a party done in like 3 hours tops.
I say my parties seem to go like 3 to 4 hours, no matter how fast I try and get them to go.
It's hard sometimes.
Me.
Say that
And
again,
probably
Linda. I
all
had to
paint
unmute
like
you.
me at a snail's pace because I am slow. I have to watch Tamara the next day so I can pause her. I watch it live, but then I watch it I rewatch it the next day so I can pause it.
There you go. All right. Well, do y'all have any final words or any last things you would like to share? Like Vashi, we'll start with you. What is something you would say to somebody who's maybe on the fence and can't decide if the Painters Clubhouse is right for them?
Ooh, definitely, it's definitely worth the money. If you can't afford doing the year in advance, then definitely do it month by month. Um, it's worth every penny. You get the free templates, you get the sisterhood, you get the help. Um, and it's life changing. My life has changed the last year. This has been what I focus on. And, you would ask what my why is too, little bits, it helps pay for the kids' allowance or our Taco Bell runs. It just, honestly, it's, hey, guess what? I want this for lunch today. So I go and grab my Mad Money. So, it just, I really think Painters Clubhouse really just helps you with personal growth. And that alone right there is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, because we need to invest in ourselves for sure.
Yeah, that's self-care. It's definite self-care for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of a double whammy because it's really good for you emotionally and like mentally, like for self-care, but it's also really good for you because it's helping you grow a skill that you can use over and over again the rest of your life.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Linda? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence?
Just take the plunge. Don't be scared. You can't mess it up. It's worth every dime you'll pay for it and then some. This has been, like Bessie said, life changing. It's something to look forward to. It's a skill that I didn't have. I didn't know I had that I could do. And I still am not a painter, but I can do this. Tamara takes you completely through it from start to finish. And she makes it so easy that it's amazing. And God gave her a talent, and she is so kind in sharing everything with us, all of her knowledge, and her staff, and I'm just grateful. This is the best thing I have ever done. It's the best money I spend every month, and you won't regret it. There's just so many benefits. It's just too much to name, but to list. But you've got the sisterhood. You've got Tamara. It's just, and Tamara always says, it's the cheapest therapy out there. And if you just trust the process, when you get finished, you will be very, very amazed at what you've been able to do. And I heard her say the other night that I think she said it's going to go through an ugly phase, and it does. And my husband will walk in sometimes and I'm painting, and I'm like, don't look at it right now. It's ugly. Wait till I'm finished. But you just trust her and trust the process. You'll never regret it. You'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner.
And the staff is phenomenal too. The moderators, they even answer our questions on the weekend sometimes. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you guys even take time on the weekend to do it, and it's phenomenal. Again, they're super encouraging and helpful. So even the staff, everyone with Painters Clubhouse is great.
I'll make sure and pass that along to all of them.
Please do. Give them a raise.
And if you have a question and you're not, you're not emailing, you can always post on the Southern Adornment page or the Painters Clubhouse page and ask a question, and you will get so many answers so quickly. And it's amazing. It's Tamara, you're a godsend.
You're going to make me cry, Linda.
Well, that's okay. I cry all the time. We'll just cry together.
Hey, Tamara, can I have a suggestion? If people join the, or even if they're just in Painters Clubhouse, I print out my template club paper that we get, and then all my templates, because it never fails. I find something and then I go and I forget that I've bought it and I rebuy it. So I keep like a little booklet. Yes, a booklet of what I have. And it's easier for you to look at and to show people like about your paint parties. Hey, I have all these that are available. Just a little hint to your people.
That's a great tip. Yeah.
Or just when they join in.
Me.
You had yours ready and waiting.
I always have them back there. I print them. I can't wait till the first of the month to see
right?
what we're getting.
Yeah, just a couple more days, Linda.
I know. I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions. I see Karen Franks is asking, what do you get in Painters Clubhouse that you would not get on like a regular Facebook Live? So first of all, my camera angle is different. I have this angle where you're looking at me face to face, but then I have another camera that I use that's an overhead shot. You can kind of see better what I'm painting than you can in a regular Facebook Live. I slow down a lot more. It's a lot more like relaxed, and I share more tips as I'm painting. because on a regular Facebook Live, sometimes I get talking 90 miles an hour and I forget that I'm teaching and I'm just socializing. So to me, the ones on Facebook Live are more just like a social, but also with a few painting tips sprinkled in. I'm more intentional when I'm teaching in the Painters Clubhouse at making sure I explain more in depth about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and making sure to sprinkle in lots of tips for you guys. So you may join me on a live in the Clubhouse thinking you're learning how to paint a particular design, but then you end up learning all kinds of other little tips you didn't realize you were going to get that day. And I probably didn't even realize I was going to teach those tips. They kind of flow out of me as I start to teach. So plus you get access to the library of over 100 different designs from the last 4 years, the templates and the tutorials for over 100 different designs. And not to mention all the different like bonus technique videos and things you can go and watch there are different techniques that you could use on any painting project, not just on door hangers, and also the community and the Zoom paint parties. There's so many good things that come with it. The Zoom paint parties are something we do at least once a month where you can hop on with other Painters Clubhouse members. And so if you're used to painting at home alone and it's a little bit lonely, hop on those Zoom calls and chat with the other members of the Clubhouse. And it can help you build up that sisterhood. And you can also learn a lot from your fellow Clubhouse members. Let's see. And she said, is your Painters Clubhouse different than Heidi? So if you guys know Heidi from Texas Art and Soul, I think that's who Rhoda's talking about. Heidi is a good friend of mine, and she teaches how to teach a paint party. So hers, yes, she does provide you with a few painting tutorials and things like that. Hers is not focused on door hangers specifically. I think she sprinkles in door hangers, but hers is more focused on the business side of things. We do not teach business in the Painters Clubhouse. I'll answer your business questions if you ask them, but I don't make business trainings for you guys. She teaches you how to have a paint party business with what she's teaching. So hers is more business and mine is more just painting for fun. But you can also turn it into a business. All right. Well, I think that's probably got all of our questions. Thank you so much for joining me today, Vashi and Linda. It's been a pleasure getting to chat with the both of you.
You too.
Thank you so much for letting us do this. And Vashi, it was nice to meet you too.
You too, Linda.
Are you coming to the workshop, the thing in Texas?
Sadly, I cannot, but I want to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so excited, Tamara. I have a countdown on my phone.
That's a great idea.
So,
all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up today. I hate that we had the echoing problems, but I did a lot of muting and unmuting to try to make it as more easy to listen to as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did, and I will see you guys later. I will be live again tonight at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to be painting the Flowers for Mom design. So it looks like this right here. So come and join me tonight at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to paint that every night this week and put a different spin on it each night. So tonight, the tip or the like nuance is that I'm going to be painting it on a round. So I'm going to need your help figuring out what we should do in the background of the round. So y'all come and join me tonight at 7 p.m. If you have any additional questions that maybe you didn't get answered today, feel free to screenshot this phone number and text me your questions. It will also get you on our text notification list so you get texted when I go live tonight and you don't forget. All right. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.